This is Frank, an Imperial Legionary, and I'm going to tell you why he's the best infantry unit in the whole of Bannerlord. So what is the best infantry unit in Mount and Blade Bannerlord? I think you've probably already guessed. This video took a little longer because it was nowhere near as easy as the Archer video. With Archers, there was a clear winner in every aspect, where you'd pick the same unit in every scenario, but for infantry, it was definitely not that clear, and it took a lot more testing. So today I'm going to show you the best infantry in the game, the Imperial Legionary, and where they are best. So first up, the best overall unit undoubtedly is the Imperial Legionary. You can see here in the background, we've got the Valandian Sergeants versus the Imperial Legionary, 300 v 300. And it is just filthy. It's a complete walkover by the Imperial Legionary. There was no contest. And if you Google it, people will say the Valandian Sergeants are some of the best in the game. But you can see here, they are no match for the Imperial Legionary. They have amazing armor. They've got strong shields, throwable weapons to break defense even before they brace. And no matter what you throw at them, infantry, cavalry, siege weapons, they'll take it better than any other infantry troop. And you can see here, pound for pound, there was no contest. And when you scour the internet and the pits of Reddit looking, what is the best infantry troop? You're going to get the Valandian Sergeants, and then you're going to get these guys. The shock troops, so to speak. These are the Sturgian heroic Linebreakers. And a lot of people claim these are the best infantry. And I'll give it to them. These are strong. These guys carry a two-handed axe. They go in there like absolute Vikings, and they deal a ton of damage. If you've got these against some recruits, some farmers, some low tier units, this will be the fastest fight you've ever seen. I think they also have throwing axes. And yeah, these guys are not to be messed with. I'm simulating in the background 300 heroic Linebreakers versus again 300 Imperial Legionaries, just to show you, although they have insane damage, they've got a fundamental flaw, and that is the lack of shield, which you'll see right here. Those javelins just annihilate a big chunk, drop the morale down, and then they have awful armor. So whenever a Sturgian heroic Linebreaker gets a hit in, it's probably a kill. But the Imperial Legionary can block that hit, and they've got armor to back it up. And then when they go back in, they've still got the damage. So if you put them against each other, again, there's no contest because the Imperial Legionary are just so well-rounded, they can take this big hit up front. Maybe if you had double the figures, so 600 Linebreakers, it would be different. But they can just break them down so fast. They javelin before the brace, and then they take them down one-on-one. So infantry versus infantry with no other factors, the Imperial Legionary are your ones to pick, in my opinion. They've always won for me, and you simulate fights like this, and they seem to win again. But what about cavalry? They don't have that big spear. Now, when you look for best cavalry unit, you're going to get these guys show up. Best anti-cavalry, sorry. These guys carry big spears, round shields, and people say these are the best for anti-cavalry. And they're pretty good, man. They got good armor, good shield, good spears. So I'm going to throw 300 horsey boys at them and see how they deal. You can see here the big charge. I threw some Valandian Vanguards, which are like, they're not the best cavalry, but they're pretty good. They're maybe tier 4, I can't really remember. But they're pretty good on the list of top cavalry. So they're going to be a challenge. Infantry versus cavalry is always a challenge. But these guys are supposed to be some of the best. They've got these big two-handed spears, and then they've got like a curved sword that they can pull out when they're one-on-one. So I'm going to play this in the background. This is a super long fight, so I'm going to skip right to the end to show you. And you can see this was a brutal fight for the Kuzai. These Kuzai Darken are they're kind of the best infantry unit these guys have, and they are supposed to be really good against cavalry. And they really do hold their own. I'll show up the stats in a minute for the fight, but you can see here on the kill feed, the red is the Kuzai, and they're getting a lot of kills against these really good cavalry. The initial charges did break them because the shields just weren't good enough, but generally they do hold their own. However, if you put 300 v 300, you can see it's pretty rough. It's pretty rough, man. So there were some big losses here. I'll pull up the stats now, and you can see that I think there was like 120 Kuzai Darkans left, and they had about 70 left to kill. So they'd gone below 50%, and they were nowhere near finished. It was going to be a long fight. So I ended it, and I thought, if these guys aren't the best anti-cavalry unit, let's try the Imperial Legionary and see how they do. They don't have a spear. They're not known for being an anti-cavalry unit, but let's throw the same 300 Valandian Vanguards at them and see how they deal. The initial brace is a slaughter, as before, which is what you'd expect. And for a long time, the Valandian Vanguards just nail on them. They can take a lot of hits, they can take a lot of damage, but they don't have that initial that initial blunt force from a spear to take them off their horses, which is a problem because it means they can turn around and do another charge. So if you're trying to protect like archers here, they're going to get through them. But skipping to the end, you can see they stand together as a unit. We've got 165 Imperial Legionaries left, and they've got the numbers down pretty far. So they're already beating the Khuzais. I'll let this play out to the end to show you just how many survive in the end. I mean, you can see they're taking big hits. The cavalry, these cavalry are no joke. But there's a vast number still left alive, and they do slowly start to take them all off their horses. They're best up close. They surround the units, look, they drag them off their horses, and they get the kills. And I think this just goes to show these guys are just the best infantry unit all round. There may be situational positions where they're best, but they've got the big shield, so they can take a lot of arrows. They've got the best armor to fight other infantry units, and they can take out. Look, there's still half of them left, and the fight's over. There's still 150 left. So they can also take out cavalry. So if I was going into battle and I wanted a situational unit, maybe I'd look for something niche. But overall, if you're just looking for a solid infantry front line, these are the guys to pick, Imperial Legionary, every time, in my opinion. These are just simulated battles, but I've played a lot of Bannerlord, and they're the guys I usually wish I had if I've got something else. If you've had a different experience or you think there's a better all-round infantry unit for all situations, let me know in the comments, because I'm no expert. I'm just someone who really enjoys the game. Other than that, guys, take care, and I'll catch you in the next one. Maybe we'll do cavalry next, best cavalry unit. See you in the next one. Bye.